Did you buy a Cricut Maker machine, get the box home, and then become paralyzed when you thought about opening it and making your very first project? I don't want you to be overwhelmed. I'm Liberty, and this is my daughter Hope, and we are going to show you in tiny little steps how to learn what you need to learn in order to open that box and make your very first project. I've been teaching piano lessons to people for over 20 years. I've taught them from ages 4 to over 70. Mostly, I teach beginners, people who've never learned a song before, kids who know nothing about the pattern of black and white keys on the piano. That's one of the first things I show them. I know how to break things down in really easy terms so that they can follow my directions. I do not sit on the bench with my students unless we are playing a duet. I do not have to touch their hands to help them play the right keys. I simply direct them with my voice and tell them what they need to do. I begin something like this. Okay, you have your right hand and your left hand. Do you know the difference? Lots of little kids get this mixed up, of course. Then I tell them that we're going to number their fingers on each hand, 1 through 5, starting with their thumb. We trace their hand, and I have them write the numbers on the drawing of their fingers. Then I have them wiggle those fingers in the air. Do you see what I mean? Very, very basic. Sometimes my students are nervous. It's a monumental task to them, especially to the adults. The kids aren't usually as scared as the adults. But by the end of their first lesson, they are a lot more confident. They know what to practice when they go home. They know how to practice. There's a lot to learn in the first lesson, and more to learn each week, but they know what to do because I've helped them know exactly what to do. I say all that to say this. If I can teach hundreds of kids and adults to play the piano, then I can teach you how to open that scary Cricut box for the first time. I am here with my daughter Hope, and she has agreed to be the new person who has never used a Cricut Maker before. Hi, I'm Liberty Brammer, and I blog at beforeandafters.com about various projects, home improvement, crafts, recipes, and a few Cricut projects. Are you overwhelmed by the thought of opening your Cricut machine? Did you buy it knowing that it could make you into an amazing crafter where you could make wonderful things? And then it arrived and you were so excited, but paralyzed at the same time. And suddenly, all those Cricut videos you had been watching seemed so confusing, and they seemed to be saying different things. I want to help you overcome the overwhelm that just comes over you when you think about opening this box and making your very first project. I want you to know that you are not alone, that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of people just like you, sitting in their house, looking at their box, and just afraid to use it. And I want to help you use it. Whether you never opened your box, or whether you opened it, tried to use it, and got discouraged and gave up, this video training is for you. By the end of this training, you will have the confidence you need to open the box and complete your very first project. I'm so excited to show you how. This is a beta version, which means it's the first one and I'm testing it. So I would really appreciate knowing if this helped you, how much it helped you, and how I could improve and make it better. So please reply to the email that you were given and let me know how I could make this better for the next person. When I first got my Cricut Maker, I too had watched a lot of videos and thought that I knew how to use it. But I really, really wanted to see someone else use theirs in real life. I knew I would feel more comfortable. Thankfully, I had a friend who had a friend with a Cricut machine, and I asked for an invitation to the friend's house, and we both went over there, and I was able to see in person how she set up her machine, how she used it. I didn't use it, I just watched her, and that's all I needed. And so since I can't have you over to my house, I'm going to do the next best thing that I can and just show you step by step all the little details that you need to know. If you live in southern York County, Pennsylvania, and you do want to come to my house for a Cricut class, let me know. I will try to arrange it. Maybe we could get a group over here, and I think that would be a lot of fun. One more thing I want to remind you of as we get started here, we are not in a big hurry. You do not need to rush through this training. Your Cricut box has already been sitting there for months, maybe a year, maybe more than a year. So we have plenty of time to go through this, and you will probably need to re-watch some parts of the video a few times, and I want you to. I want you to practice using Design Space and getting really comfortable with it. We won't do a lot of complicated things. We're just going to do some very simple, basic things just to get you started. That's it. And once you're started, I think you'll be able to keep going. There's a saying that I learned in my piano teaching, and that is, if you go fast, you'll learn slow. And if you go slow, you'll learn fast. It's not good grammar, but it works. So just take your time, go slow, and you will learn fast. And I'm going to show her how to use Design Space, which is the software that tells the Cricut machine what to do. We are here in my craft room. It's a small craft room. It's only about 7 feet wide and 14 feet long. So we have cleared the space a little bit, and there's a bunch of stuff over there where you can't see it. But let's go ahead and get started. Do you have any questions before we start? Okay, so I'm going to actually get the camera and bring it around to show what you are doing over here. The first thing that you're going to need to do is go to Cricut.com. So you're going to use your favorite browser. We're using Chrome. So go ahead and type in CRICUT.com and hit enter. Okay, and this is what will come up. And now what we are doing is we are going to Cricut.com to find the software. Okay, I do have it already on my computer, but if you are brand new with a Cricut Maker, then you do not have this on your computer yet. So now you need to navigate up to the right-hand corner to where it says sign in and click on that. And it will ask you what you want to do. There's two choices. You can sign in if you've already signed in before, or you can create a Cricut ID. So we're going to click on Cricut ID, and you would type in your email and create a password. I'm not actually going to have Hope sign in. We're just going to go ahead and sign in with my login. But this is what you would do if you were brand new to Cricut, is create your own login and create a password and all that. So go ahead and click to the sign in. Okay, so go ahead and hit enter now. And now it's logged in to Liberty, and we have a touch screen, so we can also just hit the button. So now go ahead to apps right there. You see where it says apps? And over here, this black button says download Cricut Design Space. So you're going to click on that. And it's going to ask you if you want to download it or open it. And you're going to click on I agree to the Cricut terms of use and privacy policy there. So we already have it downloaded, so we don't need to download it. We are just going to open it. However, once it is on your computer, it will show up with this little white square with the Cricut in your taskbar. Now, your taskbar might be at the top of your screen, or it could even be on the side, but mine is down here at the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to skip to just opening this with the button in our taskbar. And it's going to load and update. Now, it's possible if you, so it likes to update a lot, and so that's what it's doing now. It's possible when you first open this that you won't have this pinned to your taskbar. And so the way to pin it to your taskbar so that it's always there is if you right click. So on our laptop, we don't have a left click and a right click button, but if we just click on the right side of the pad, it will, when we're on the button, it will show a right click one. So after you do have Cricut Design Space downloaded and opened, what you can do is you can right click on the button in your taskbar and you can tell it to pin it to your taskbar. So I don't want to unpin mine, but it will say pin to taskbar and you can click that so that it's always there when you're ready to open it. And I find that very handy for the programs that I use on a regular basis. Okay, now we're going to click out of this, and here we are. This is Cricut Design Space. So, I've already talked to you about how I am a piano teacher and I teach people. And so just like I teach piano, I'm going to be guiding Hope through navigating this keyboard. It's a computer keyboard, not a piano keyboard. But the ideas are the same of how to teach someone to use a new thing. So, do you have any questions so far?
How do you make it scroll up and down?
Okay, so on the right side over here is a bar, and there's two ways. You can either click the arrow at the bottom of the bar and use a left click, and it will scroll it down like that. Or if you put your mouse right in the space below the bar, you can go ahead and give it a click when it's pointing, and it will scroll down a whole page worth at a time when you do that. Or there's actually a third way. In order to click and drag with a laptop pad, you use your left hand to click, and you push and hold down with your left hand, and then you scroll with your right hand like that. Okay? Pretty easy to navigate? Okay. So, there are two tabs up here on the left. One says Home, one says Canvas. So you can go ahead and click up here and click Canvas with your left click button there. All right. Now, that's the same as clicking New Project. So if you go back and you click Home again, and over on the right where it said New Project, if you click New Project, go ahead and do that. It also brings you to the canvas. So either way will get you here, and we're going to do a new project. Okay, so to get started here, we are just going to actually not start making a new project yet. We are going to click around on some buttons just to discover what they do when we click them. Okay, so like I tell you in learning other computer things, as long as you don't click anything that says delete, we should be fine. So let's just start by clicking on this left side where it says Shapes. And there's different shapes there. Go ahead and pick one to put in the canvas. And when you click it like that, there it puts it. So you will notice there are 4 squares on the edges. If you click with your left hand and then pull and drag, you can make that bigger. Or you can push it back and make it smaller. Okay? How does that feel to do something like that?
It's fun.
Yeah. So have you ever used my laptop before?
No.
You usually use the desktop downstairs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So this is Hope's first time using my laptop, let alone Cricut Design Space. Okay, so this heart, can you click on it again and select it? Do you like that color?
No.
Okay, so any ideas how to change the color of this heart? If you look around, okay, it's a little tricky to find. Let me show you. This square right here, click on that square. Look at all the colors. Go ahead and pick a color. There you go. Now it's nice and pink. Okay, so you can click away from that. So now it's pink. And this just helps you to visualize what your end project is going to be. The color depends on what material you actually stick in the Cricut Maker. So you can make this pink, but stick in a purple piece of paper, and of course it's going to be purple instead. All right. Let's try images. Cricut has a whole lot of images in addition to shapes that you can choose from. And so up here in the search bar, once you click images, think of something you might like to put, like a balloon or a cat, and just type it in. After you click in that area, just type it in. A horse. Okay, and then hit enter. All right, and now we have all kinds of horses to choose from. You'll see this little green A over here. All of those images mean that you have to be signed up to Cricut's Design Space Access, which is around $10 a month to have access to that. I do have access to that, so we can use all those images. But what if you don't have access and you want to find the ones you can use? Over here on the left are some filters you can use. So go ahead and click the free button and see what it shows us. Now, none of those green, well, actually there is a green access one, but it's still free. So now we have other images we can use, but not a lot. As you can see, there's not as many horses as there were before. So if you scroll down over here on the left, it'll show you what kind of images you're looking for. Like maybe you're looking for, just go ahead and click on this plus sign. It'll show you more options on the project type. Okay, those are different layers. Go ahead and hit the minus. On the project type, go ahead and push plus. So it'll tell you, okay, you're looking for a card or a marker or a pen or whatever. Okay. All right. Let's click back up into our canvas area. Actually, we need to hit cancel in this lower right area. Okay. Now let's add some text. So T with text over here. And you can type something. You can type horse or, I don't know, Valentine's Day. You can type your name. So, okay. All right. And now, let's say that you don't want it to be that font. You can click up here into the font part. Click that little arrow. And now you can search what kind of font you want that box to be. So just choose one and see what it does. And now it changed it. Oh, that's really pretty, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So in the script and cursive ones, they might not be connected and you might have to play with them to connect them. And that's talking about group and ungroup. So once you start adding things to the canvas here, on the right, it's going to put them in a list, and they call it layers, this list on the right. So when I start a project, I'm going to start editing things. But what if I don't want to lose it? What if I don't want to ruin it? First, I will make a copy so that I can go back and use my copy in case I change too many things and I don't like how it turned out. So click on your hope thing here and I'll show you how to make a copy. Once you see all those little boxes, you know that it's selected. And go over here to the right side where it has a little plus sign and click that. If you hover before you click, it will show you what it's going to do. So it says it's going to duplicate it. And that's what it did when you clicked it. It made another one. So go ahead and drag it. It always likes to put it up in the left corner there. Go ahead and grab that and drag it away. You're going to hold your left hand down and click on it and then pull it away like that. Yes, good. Okay, so now that we have two of them, we're going to click on one of them in the layers on the right and select one. So you've selected the smaller one and then hover over here on the layers and you will see a little eye symbol poke up. Choose one of those to click on the eye. And what that does is it hides it so you don't see it anymore, but it's still there. If you decide you want to use it, all you do is you go back over again and you click on the crossed out eye and it'll pop right back up. So I always like to do that when I'm working in Design Space. Duplicate it, make a copy, then hide it, and then it's a backup. All right, so go ahead and hide that again. And then we'll play with the other one that you didn't hide. So something that Design Space does not do for you is it does not automatically save your work. So this is where it can get very frustrating if you've done a lot of work and then it disappears. So I recommend that you frequently save your progress because it's not going to do it for you. So up in the right-hand corner there is a save button. Go ahead and click on that. And it's going to ask you to name the project with a title. So go ahead and name that. You name it Hope, Horse, whatever you like to name it there. Okay, and then in the green button down here, click Save. Okay, once it does that, it will give you a nice big banner up there letting you know that you saved it. Okay. All right, go ahead and click that eye. All right, so it hid one of them as a backup. All right. Let me show you how to play with this text a little bit. Go ahead and click on it again. And we are going to ungroup them so that you can move that O closer to the P and the P closer over so they're connected. And the way we are going to separate these letters is go back to the list on the side over here, and beside that duplicate button are two little squares. And if you hover, it will say ungroup. Now, if you hover and it says group, then that means they're already separated. But right now it says ungroup. So it's going to ungroup whatever you have selected and whatever has those little squares around it. Okay, is it making sense so far? Okay, good. All right, so go ahead and click that ungroup button. And now you see that it put each letter individually in the list. Go ahead and click one of the letters in the list. Okay, so now which letter did it select?
H.
Okay, I want you to grab that H and drag it away to the left. Okay, let go. Okay, what you need, don't grab the little square on the right, just grab in the middle of the letter. Now drag it away. There you go. Okay, let go. All right, what you want to do now is take your left hand. You need to use two hands on these things on a laptop. With a desktop and a mouse, you're able to click and move it with one hand. But with a laptop, you're going to have to click with your left hand to hold it down and then use your right hand to slide it around. Okay, so click on the O now with your left hand. and hold it down with the click. Don't let go of the click. Now, slide it over closer to the P actually, so that it touches with that little loop at the top. Now, if it's too close, then you might decide you wanted a different font after all. But we can also turn that O so that it will touch better. So you're going to, let me show you how to turn it. You're going to click on it, and when you hover the mouse to where it turns into that little round arrow thing, now you can turn it. So use your left hand again to click down. You've got to click right when it's got this round arrow. Now use your right hand to slide it, and look at that, it's going to turn it. But we don't want it upside down. You need to turn it the other way. Okay, right about there. Stop. Okay. Now, drag it up again. Drag it up a little higher so that the O is touching the top of the P in the right place. So, depending on your internet connection and the speed of your computer, Design Space may not work as quickly as you want it to work. So, you might be clicking on something and trying to move it and it's not moving. Just click out away from it. Give it a second to think, and then click it again, and then slide it, and it should work just fine. Okay? So you can use 2 fingers to click and slide if you want, and that's the same as using 2 hands. But when you start out, it's probably easier to use 2 hands to do that. Okay, so go ahead and grab that H and slide that back over by the word. Good. Good. Is that where you want it? Okay. This concludes the preview of our sample video for this training, how to overcome the overwhelm when you're thinking about opening your Cricut Maker box to make your first project. I'm looking forward to finishing this video training for you. If you have any suggestions for me, I do hope you will email me at beforeandaftersblog@gmail.com. If you email me soon enough, I may be able to make the changes in time for the release of the video training. Thank you so much for your support.